The No Nonsense Roundtable. It's a weekly show broadcast on Rochester, New York's 50,000-watt iHeart radio station, News Radio Wham 1180. The host, Dom Genova, interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. What you are about to hear is a recording of a previous broadcast without the breaks and commercials. Now, here's host, Dom Genova.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the No Nonsense Roundtable. And I am here with an awfully, is that the word for it? Awfully interesting individual.
I don't know if I'd put it awfully.
A lot of you may know him as a wonderful comedian, entertainer, magician, and his name is Sky Sands. Sky, thank you for being here, and you're going to be doing most of the work here because you entertain people for a living.
I do. I entertain people for a living, and I just wanted to talk that way so people went, hey, I never knew he sounded like that. Yeah, that's what I do for a living, and actually, that's what I do for life. I entertain myself, and then if other people enjoy it too, it's cool.
Let's talk about how did you get to do what you're doing? Did you want to be an entertainer since you were a very young age?
Ritalin. It was all about Ritalin. They called me Captain Ritalin in school. I was 7 years old, saw the movie Houdini, decided I didn't want to be a drummer, wanted to be a magician. I was kind of really short, because I saw Buddy Rich and I wanted to be a drummer. And then I saw Houdini with Tony Curtis and I went, no, that wins. And so, plus you get to be tied up, which I was used to. So I started doing magic, and I was a little kid, bright red curly hair, short, named Skylar. That's the first full name. I wasn't mysterious. So I started doing some joking around and funny, and people laughed. And I thought, well, maybe the comedy is more funny than the magic. So I put the two together and started doing shows and kids' birthday parties. And then my first bar was the Red Creek when I was 16 years old. And my friend's mom went with us to the amateur hour. Her son played the guitar, and I did a comedy magic act. And then next thing you know, I'm doing pubs where I'm doing close-up magic at singles places. And then the bars, the discos, they'd take a break on the disco floor, and I would get out of a straitjacket, $100 if someone could tie me up that I couldn't get out of. Then did the comedy clubs. After the comedy, in between then was a clown for 5 years, and then a Mick clown for a very well-known Mick restaurant chain. And then I did everything with the letter C: children's shows, churches, corporate, comedy clubs, casinos. I worked out in Vegas, and then I went to Atlantic City, then did the cruise ships, and then started doing some stuff in Italy, Austria, Hungary, and then started doing much more corporate, less comedy clubs. And today I'm just an overall guy, mushroom fungi. Anything goes.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sometime during the show today to get you out of your shell.
I know. I do have to learn how to just open up.
Yeah, just open up. Well, Johnny Carson kind of started that way. He was a magician as a little boy.
The great Carsoni. That's what he called himself.
And
Johnny, yeah.
Well, it seems to be a path to get to where you are. So do you enjoy the magic stuff as much as the comedy, or the comedy and the magic stuff? Or
I still love them both because it's theater. It's theater. When I do something, I don't just do a magic trick. It's not a question of fooling you. It's a question of making you feel like a kid. Like when you're on a roller coaster, the first time you go over that big dip, that breathtaking, well, that's what magic should be. And that's what I like to do. And I like to bring you somewhere and then maybe change the route before you know about it. And then I won't do it a second time, because try going on that roller coaster 2 times in a row. It's never the same.
I heard something about comedy once, and see if you subscribe to this. Comedy, I read, was one of 2 types. One is the thing you expect, the banana on the floor, and somebody trips on the banana and you were expecting the banana. And the other part is something that you never would have thought of. You think that's about accurate?
Well, there's so much more, though. There really is. I mean, there's enduring more pain than is humanly possible, such as the person falling down the steps, the Laurel and Hardy, the Three Stooges. There's simple reversal, where something happens that you didn't expect. There's incongruity, where things change and then you think you have it, but they change again, something moves. So there's different factions. And as far as, I don't have a system, but I know that those work. Those work. I just don't stick to one of them.
So what's the first paid gig you got?
First paid gig, I played at Infantino's restaurant on Lake Avenue. I was, I believe, 8 years old, and I did a birthday party for kids who were 3. So basically, I was a glorified babysitter. But that was the first paid gig, or actually the first paid gig was doing a show in Eric Lerner's garage, and we charged $0.25 for people to come see me. The first real show, I don't know. I don't even remember. I could have done, I think it was Moses's bar mitzvah. I mean, that was...
You got to tell me some of the 8-year-old jokes, though.
You know, back then, it was just spilling stuff and making myself look silly. I mean, the other jokes, well, they're in my act now, so I don't want to ruin them. That's what it really comes down to.
Well, that brings up a very good question, though, is that you do a show. How many shows do you do, normally speaking, in a club in a row?
Well, sometimes, like in a local club and on the road, you'll do maybe 1 Wednesday, 1 or 2 Thursday, 2 Friday, 2 to 3 Saturday, and then none on Sunday for the most part. In Vegas, I would do 18 shows a week.
Oh, my
Because you would do 2 a night, and then maybe 3 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday.
Is it difficult to keep it fresh?
Sure. It's difficult because my show isn't just sitting on a... No, I don't mean just. I did not mean just. I'm not a monologist where I stand still and talk to you about my wife, my dog, my kids. Nothing wrong with that. I am extremely physical, hyperactive, and it takes an awful lot out of me. So after a show, I don't talk. And after 2 shows, I got to store the words back up. It's energy.
From what I've seen on the YouTubes, you're evocative of Robin Williams.
I've been told, if someone says you're kind of like Robin Williams...
compliment or not?
Now? No, he's dead. That would be terrible. That would be a terrible, terrible comparison. Yes, if someone said I was like him, I didn't mind that because they understood that I wasn't right. I know, hi, Lefty. But I used to do that with that song. There was a song, You Have No Right. And I couldn't help but sing every time I heard it on the radio, hi, Lefty. And then they would say I was a combination between Robin and Howie Mandel. And you know what? Comparison's okay because everyone's going to compare something, although comparison is the thief of happiness. It really is, in general speaking. You know, if you don't have something but someone does, but you liked it until you saw someone else had something better. Anyway, I digest what I was saying was, if someone says you're like someone that's good, if they say you are just like, that's the kiss of death.
You just say you digest?
Right. I went kind of backwards,
okay.
but I actually did some processing while I did. I did.
I can see why you make a living out of this. You're pretty good.
I'm like wasabi. I tell people, good in small doses. Some people can't get enough of me. Some I'm a little bit overpowering for. Some don't even want me on their plate. But it's not an affectation. People think, well, it's a character. Oh, no. Scoff, scoff, titter, titter. You ask people that knew me years ago, and this was how I was 24/7. So I finally have learned how to calm it down. Just not today, but I have learned.
Well, it's a craft you have to practice, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. The COVID threw me back.
Oh, my God, yes.
Oh, I'm doing shows to like my Dixie Cup dispenser, and I would put on different little outfits on it, so it was like a different audience all the time. It was different because the more, like if I travel with other comics, when I did the road, then you came up with great material and the energy was really fresh. And when you're alone all the time, you can write. It's still cool. It's just not the same thought, creative process.
And like breathing, you got to do it all the time?
Yes, you really do. Otherwise, I mean, the first show all of us did, meaning comedians, after, it was different, but it was like going home.
I'm Dom Genova here every Saturday from 10 to 11 on News Radio Wham 1180, or you can get all the previous shows on No Nonsense Roundtable.com. I am here with a very interesting fellow, Sky Sands, who is an entertainer, comedian, magician, musician. You play any instruments?
I play 4 or 5 instruments. I play guitar. I play the Indian flute. I play the tourist flute, like a recorder.
Okay.
But the tourist flute is the one this right here. Oh. You see it at all the stores when you go to different places, and it says...
Well, we're on radio. They can't see that.
Well, I'm holding it. Just trust me. It's a stick with holes in it.
You have to go look at... Wow.
So anyway, there you go. I play that for real, and then I also play the harmonica and piano. But piano I'm fair at. One time, the piano player didn't show up at the Rio Bamba on New Year's. So I got on the piano and started tinkling the ivories, and my wife was amazed. The couple we were with was amazed. People thought I really played, but I just played with.
So you're doing stand-up, and there's a guy who's overly drunk in the corner heckling. Tell me about it.
Well, there's a code, first of all. If it gets, you handle it the best you can. But if it's making everyone else's butt tighten up, I mean, if it's really ruining it, then you say you have a code maybe. Can I get a Coke, please? Or can I get a Heineken, something? And that means you've set that up beforehand. That means they need to be taken care of. And if it's a good room, they do know how to, quote, police, unquote, the room. And then that person will be asked to leave. Otherwise, there are lots of comments. And, it's so funny when I wrote this bit, I didn't have a speaking role for you. I would say something like that.
Yeah.
When your mom left the house, she took you everywhere because obviously just to avoid kissing you goodbye. There's different things that you can say and you use it witty. And then once they're quiet, I don't approach them because I talk to the audience only when I need them. I don't just work the audience like some great guys do. I have an act, so I don't need a heckler. You're not helping my show.
Well, there's two things I noticed like I said, I haven't seen you live, which I hope to do very soon. But what I saw on the YouTube is a fellow who gets up in front of the crowd and immediately grasps the crowd and they like you. You can tell the first couple of sentences out of your mouth, you've bonded with them. I know it's a self-deprecating humor that you do, or is intentional, or is just your natural personality. What is it?
Purple. I have no idea what the answer to that question is. I get up there and I am someone that people want to watch for like an hour, but they wouldn't want as a family member, I think. I mean, for real. It's for instance,
well, how are you different than any of us?
Well, because it's wow. I did a gig recently where I was a judge, one of the judges for a comedy contest. And then they wanted me to headline to go on and do a set while they were tabulating the scores. Well, everyone in that audience, they were not there to see me. It was a full house. They were just there to see if their friend was going to win the contest. So I had to get on there, and it was amazing. Even the owner of the club said, I don't know how you did it. And I wasn't sure either, but it's just the energy. It's the resyncing. It's the changing of gears. That's why you can't do the same show every time you go on stage. It's not a cookie cutter kind of thing. I see the audience. All of a sudden, no, I was going to do 1, 2, and 3. Now I've got to do 174, 15, and back to 8. So
can you tell if the audience is going to be amenable to you or not?
Oh yeah.
Can you judge an audience? You ever get of course, every once in a while you get a bad audience, right?
Oh my! Well, I get a different audience because you can say it's a bad audience, but it's an audience. The audience is in front of you, whether it's good or bad. They were tough. They could be really tough. And they could be bad actually. I've gone on when people have gone on before me and they're so rude. I did a gig where this guy before me, and I don't swear on stage. I don't. If something goes wrong, I know the defecation is going to come in contact with the rotating oscillator. Okay, that's how it goes for me because there's so many other good words, and if I do swear, I swear once, and that has impact. But it's like the guy that says every other word. Next thing you know, it has no impact. They're just counting how many times you do it. So. Damn, and this is the story of my life. I was just going somewhere else with this. You had asked me about a bad show.
You don't remember any bad shows?
No, I do remember loads of bad shows. Oh, that was what I was talking about. Yeah, because I derail all the time, my train of thought. This guy went on before me, and he did a really bad set. Really, I mean, not bad, but he was gross. He was risque. He was X-rated, and there were a bunch of red hat ladies in the audience, and they were just older and wanted to. So as I'm outside the showroom waiting to go on, they all were leaving, and I said, "Why are you going?" She said, "This is terrible. We didn't come here to hear this." I said, "Ladies, please go back inside. I promise you will like my show. You might like it excessively. And if you do, that's great. If you don't, I'll give you all your money back, each one of you. But I promise you, it's nothing like what you heard." And afterwards, they came over and they had pictures taken with me because it's just people have enough of a bad day. Why would you go to a place where the comic come sit up front with me and they go, "No, you'll make fun of." No, I have an act. Why would I want to make fun of you if you're spending the money? Maybe you had to get a sitter and you're going to a place. I want to make you feel good. I want to make you laugh. Hello, comedy club, not abuse club.
Well, and the whole culture has to have changed in the last 30 years. I mean, Don Rickles couldn't get away with, like you said, he's dead. So
right.
You can't get away with anything anymore. But he couldn't get away with that these days.
Well, there's a couple guys on the circuit who can, and they're good, and people expect them to. And if someone opens the door, if the comic opens the door and he wants it open and people keep talking talking. That's great. I like it when I close the door, I don't reopen it because I finally got them quiet. And some comics, after they get a heckler quiet, will say, and do you have something to say about this? And that gives the guy a chance to talk again. These guys are great. Me, I do a couple of bits where people have said to me afterwards, you should be embarrassed. That's very, very racist. And you know what? It is not racist. First of all, it's a comedy club. Lighten up. I am not racist.
Well, has it changed the culture in stand-up? I mean,
I can't even say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I actually did a corporate show a couple of weeks ago, and I had 2 to do for them. And they said to me, please don't say hello, ladies and gentlemen, when you open up anytime. Just say hi, folks, because we can't be gender specific.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, for real.
That is something I have never thought of.
Neither would I. I never thought it came down to that.
Well, the culture's changed, and it has to change. The venues are playing too, right?
There's crazy kids over there.
Yeah. The venues are definitely changing, and I'm getting older, so I can't do the same things I used to do because it kind of looks weird for a guy my age doing this. I'm 77 years old, and I look good, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
When I'm younger,
you look great.
Well, don't say it.
You look great. You look great. What do you want me to say? You look great. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, no, you don't look a day past 70.
No.
Well, it's funny because, and I'm not 77, folks, but when you're a kid.
I have no idea. I can't tell.
When you're a kid, you say that you're older, so you can play the gigs and whatnot. And then when you're older, you want to say you're younger, but I exist. I am what I am.
And you obviously do imitations then, too.
I do some impressions. Like, here's my impression of Frank Sinatra. I think he's a talented singer and songwriter.
That was it?
Well, that's my own impression of him.
Okay. Where are we going with this?
Well, it's called, because you asked me for my impression of Frank Sinatra, and I said, well, that's my impression of him. I mean, see, they're called RMIs.
Okay, it takes you a little time to catch that. Yes.
It's called a joke grenade. It's a joke grenade.
Yes, it makes me feel dumb.
No, it shouldn't. It makes me feel smart. Well, for instance.
Well, as long as you're satisfied, we're fine.
Well, it's like advertising. You can't believe everything you read. Think about it.
Okay, with that, you're listening to the No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Genova with the inimitable. Is that a word? I don't know.
I like it. I bet you gets a lot of points on Scrabble.
Yeah, that's it. Sky Sands, he is a entertainer, comedian, musician, soon-to-be author. I'm looking at a copy of his book he's holding. It's True Stories He's Made Up, which sounds like an awfully interesting title. But we're at the bottom of the hour. In the bottom of the hour, I always reach out to the Bob Johnson Auto Group, who sponsors the show and are the owners of the dealerships that I used to own, which is Genesee Valley Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Genesee Valley Ford and Avon. Good people, and love dealing with them, and I'm sure you will too. And again, thanking them for sponsoring the show. Now, of course, I do this kind of on a part-time basis, being a talk show radio host, and the gentleman in front of me is an entertainer for a living. And I depend on people like him to give me some show prep and whatever. And before the show, he handed me this sheet of paper, and it has 26 things about him that you may want to know about. And either this is the best show prep in the world or the best documentation of narcissism I've ever seen.
No, I've never, ever written that down before. I've never shared it. And I just thought, you know what? It'll give you an idea. You don't have to tell me which you were going to pick. I was going to actually bring a wheel in that we'd spin.
Yeah. Okay. So of all of these 26 things, what's the best?
Oh, I don't know. Ask me one. I mean, I have an answer.
You forgot?
Well, no, I didn't forget. I mean, there's things on there that I didn't put.
Well, what should people know about you that they don't know? Number one thing.
That I suffer from depression.
Really?
From severe depression.
Really?
Honest to goodness. Debilitating at times.
And what do you do about that?
Well, between breathing exercises, there's been medication, meditation, and just live through it. The optimist says the glass of wine is half full, and the pessimist says it's half empty. And I say not only is it half full, but the rest of the bottles in the kitchen, and the cases in the basement, and the stores are open till 9. So I gotta stay positive. But it's always very tough because with all of this that you hear now, with the highs, like I said about after a show, the lows are phenomenal.
And of course, there's some people that, like Robin Williams, who...
I can totally understand. Well, plus they said that he was sick. He had a disease that he was not wanting to have to deal with or his family to deal with. But he had depression quite a bit. A lot of comics, their comedy comes from pain. I mean, I think because I didn't get the attention as a kid, perhaps, because I found out after my mom passed that she was clinically, I knew during her life she was clinically depressed. It's been a battle probably since I was around 12.
Getting love from the audience? Is that what you feel?
I get a good energy from the audience, and that feels great. And I'm not, like, all my life I've been told, slow down, or be quiet, or it's just a feeling of that we've bonded, that we've had it. And it's not that I grew up without love. I mean, I've got family members, they've been very supportive, but it's been a tough road.
Is it a high when you're on stage?
Huge. It's like right now, because your energy is so positive, I'm up, and people might think, well, this is how, trust me.
So it's an endorphin that you get when you're on stage, and then when you're off the show, you feel a low from that? Is that what it is?
It can be, but it's not just, see, now I'm just trying to talk so I'm not as hyper so people can realize it doesn't have to be that way, but it takes energy for me not to be that way. So it's endorphin, or if I get the applause or not, no matter what, I'm up there, I'm in sync, in character. I find out someone died right before I went on stage, I'm still doing a good show. It's my job. But it's still, there are days where I'm having a really bad low day. We'll put it aside. I've got to get into character.
Well, and you're animated on stage.
I'm very animated on stage. When I'm not, people would say, what's wrong? What's going on?
Well, I'm looking at this list of 26 things. I think the thing that I look at that I'm most amazed about is you were Ronald McDonald's for a while?
I was an EMT. I went to RIT, and then I was certified as an EMT. As soon as I got certified, I left the job when I found out as an EMT. I was told at the place I was working, if you find a body and the head is off, if you do, you're not a doctor, you're not a coroner, so you cannot pronounce that person dead. Therefore, put oxygen on the head, because that's an additional cost that we could charge. Honest to goodness. And they gave me a couple of other examples. I thought, I can't do this. First, I auditioned for Ronald McDonald, and there were probably like 100 guys. I made the cuts, and because I juggle, I ride a unicycle, I make the balloons, I do the magic, they hired me, and I did mostly appearances at schools, safety shows, and senior events. And it's interesting also because I wasn't allowed to talk about this for the longest time. I signed a confidentiality contract, but now that the character is no longer, and Willard Scott, who was the first Ronald, talked about it. I do. And I will say, though, that there was one time when a lady I was dating met me back at the hotel room, and it was tough to get through security for real, because they make sure that no one bothers Ronald while I can get out of the makeup, because no one ever, sometimes people follow to see who it really is.
Well, when you go through security, you have to take your shoes off. That must be awfully difficult.
We didn't back then. Wow. We ruled, baby.
That's it. So I'm looking at these questions. Some of them sound like they're trick deals, okay? You said you sang the national anthem at Frontier Field. 3,000, 4,000 people do that every day at Frontier Field. Is this
I was on the field. I was the guy.
Oh, I thought this was a trick question. No. I thought, you sang at Frontier Field and it's supposed to get me at this because I sang at Frontier Field too.
Yeah, but not on the field.
No.
See, and it's funny because I was just talking to someone yesterday where I said I sang with Jerry Garcia trucking, and they went, "Are you serious?" I went, "Yeah, well, there was like 3,000 people, but it felt like it was just me and Jerry in the War Memorial."
Well, I'm looking at another one. Flown airplane, jumped out of airplane at the same time?
No.
You flew it and then you
No, I was in an airplane. I've never been on an airplane. I would love to. I was in an airplane, and my friend was flying, and he let me take over the controls. And the first time, one friend let me do that, and I wasn't very good at it. And he took the controls back, but I have landed a plane too. And I've gone skydiving.
You say you wrote a book. We have something come out. I've read a book. So there you go.
There you go.
So the title of your book is?
The title of True Stories I've Made Up.
Okay. And where can we find this book?
Right now, I'm looking for a publisher, and I may self-publish it, but right now I'm still editing because it's like 400 and some odd pages.
Whoa.
So I know I got to trim it down.
have been written up in medical journal.
Behavioral, because because people have said that I'm certain things throughout my growing up. Example, i.e. ... They said I'm on the spectrum, and I realize I'm kind of on the spectrum as far as certain things go, with flashing lights and sounds, very sound sensitive. I have earplugs in my pocket right now because I take them wherever I go, but also because of the depression, because of the I don't want to say personality traits, but just because I'm a unique example. What's it? Specimen.
And you're a cook.
I am a cook.
What's your favorite to cook?
Well, I cook soups, a lot of different soups. I'm a vegetarian, and I'm not.
God forbid.
Well, I'm not a.
If God didn't want you to eat animals, why do you make them out of meat?
I guess so that they can just respect each other. Because that's where it came from. Nice to meet you. It was always a respect thing. And I'm not a vegan because you haven't heard me talk about it up till now. So obviously not. But anyway, lots of different soups, stir fries, and I used to bake a lot. I used to be a baker actually when I was younger in high school.
And with that, I'm going to have to lead us into another break, and we're going to have, maybe a little word association when we get back. Well, welcome back to the No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Genova, your host, here with Sky Sands. I'm making a friend with you, I think.
I think we are. I like it.
Yeah. Comedian, magician, author, musician.
Possibilitarian.
Is that like being an Episcopalian, or what possibility? Like where are the services held for that?
Anywhere you want. Possibilitarian. Anything's possible.
And success is never ending, and failure is never final. Right.
Right. I am
pretty much that.
Yeah. You got to. And I am successful. I am probably the most successful comic you've ever met.
Well, you're the most successful one in this room right now.
Well, no. It's not because of the Porsche that I drive that I disguise as a 12-year-old Buick. And it's not the 9-bedroom estate that I disguise as a 3-bedroom split level. I think not. All kidding aside, I am successful because I love what I do.
Yes.
I know.
It's a gift.
Right. Money would be nice, a little bit more money, of course. But here you go. I woke up today. I ate under a roof. I've had laughs. I met you. To me, that is success. It's to love life. And for me, that's great. That's just, it's a gift. It is a gift.
Well, I tell my kids, you're never going to be God. The job is taken and he has a lifetime gig. You got to decide where you're going to be happy, right?
I know a lot of people then that are trying to do an impression of him, but it's not working.
Yeah, there's a book that I love. It's written by David Brooks, and he says, most people are worried about their resume. You should worry about your eulogy instead of your resume.
Right.
So you're doing what you're doing what you love. Let me throw out some questions for you. Late night shows and political comedy.
Don't watch late night shows, and political comedy, stay away from. Why separate your audience? It's just not my style.
Well, it's everything these days seems to be niche marketing. People are going for just one small group and making a success out of it. And one comedian in particular just drives me nuts because it's always bing, 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 bing all the time. And I get bored with that, quite frankly.
You know what? I'm Sesame Street comedy. And the reason being I say that is because if you don't like something, hold on tight, because there's going to be something else. If you don't like the magic, there's going to be comedy. If you don't like the comedy, there's going to be music. And the subjects are always changing. There's impressions. I call them RMIs, like right-minded impressions. They're not going to be what you think they are. So to me, the whole idea is to keep it spastic. I want you to come in my head for the time that I'm on stage. It's like a 15-ticket ride.
Would you rather follow somebody or be first? Probably be first, right?
No. I'd rather follow somebody.
Really?
Yeah, I get a feel of the energy. I don't even listen. I listen if it's the first time I'm working with that person. Then I'll listen to make sure that we don't touch on any of the same subjects. And please, the idea that I'm going to touch on the same subject with my brainal unit, it's pretty rare. But I usually go on last, whether you call it a headliner or a closer or the third guy, unless it's, like if you're at Dangerfields or back in the day, there's tons of people. You go on, I've gone on 23rd, it doesn't matter because I got the late night draw. But no, I like going on because it's just a lot of comics don't want to follow me. I'm so hyper and I'm so different. It's like if you ate wasabi, like I said, you eat wasabi and then I'm going to give you a piece of white bread afterwards.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, you can tell people like you. You make a connection with people. I don't know how you do it. It's something that's got to be innate in your soul, but you seem to connect with people.
It's a gift.
People like you.
It's a gift and a curse. Monk used to say that, but honestly, it's a little both.
Well, how does it occur so where people like it?
Because sometimes people expect you to be on all the time. If people come up to me and I'm not that way, either they're disappointed or quite often they're thinking, wow, what a snob. He don't want to talk or he's uppity. No, I sometimes am withdrawn, and therefore it's a little bit, you need your downtime.
We had training at when I used to work for Chrysler, and somebody got up in front of us and said, Johnny Carson isn't happy all the time.
Right.
I mean, he's 3 divorces and whatever, all the financial problems he had and everything. And then there was rumor that he drank too much. He says, but he had to put on the act no matter what.
Sure.
It's got to be the way it is, right?
The show must go on. Again, I've had things, I've come where I've helped someone in a car accident and then got to the club just on time to get on stage. And first I get yelled at because I came to the club so late. And then I got to go on knowing that I just helped this guy. I could see a little bit of blood on my shirt. Another time, my dad died. I was in my hotel room in Vegas. I got the phone call, my dad died. 20 minutes later, I got to go downstairs and perform. Yeah. And, I was really quiet. And the sound man says, hi. I went, hi. And he went, oh, getting too big to talk to the little tech guys now, are you? I said, Jerry, I'm sorry. My dad just died and I just found out, but I got to go on stage. Oh my gosh. And I went on stage and I kicked butt because that's what you do.
Yeah. Now, I've listened to some interviews with some comedians, and they're talking about shows at 5 o'clock in the morning in Vegas. I mean, is that common?
Not for me. Common for me would be 1 o'clock in the morning shows in Vegas or 1 o'clock in Atlantic City, because that's on the third show on a Saturday night. That's what time it would start. So I'm not going on till 2:15 because I'm closing the show, or even if I'm middling, if it's 1:45 or 2. And wow, you people, hey, you've lost $40,000, but go here, laugh, have a comedy show and a buffet on us. It's whacked. Or if I do the high school lockdowns, I do a lot of shows for these high schools where they keep the kids overnight so they can't go out and drinking and driving or whatnot. I never did whatnot as a kid, but when I got older, I did. And I would go on maybe 2 in the morning. Now they put me on earlier because now they've got so many other venues that they can have the comedy first when they're fresh, and then they can play the soccer ball and the fun stuff and the physical games later on.
Okay, so we only have about 3 minutes left, so I'm going to let you take it out.
All right. First of all, have fun. In life, I forgot. Someone once told me, when you go on stage, don't forget to have fun. And I did. I always forgot because I worked too hard at trying to do my best. Well, you know what? If you can, just have fun. Even if it's waiting in line at a store, come up with something fun to do. I learned the alphabet backwards. ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIHGFEDCBA. And also you can just come up with think of maybe a joke or talk to someone next to you. Have fun. Second, I wasn't going to talk earlier about depression. I really wasn't. I felt like I was hesitant. And then I thought, well, shame on you, Sky. And I did hear that voice. He said, shame on you, Sky. Because it's not something that I feel you should be embarrassed about. It's just what is. If you broke your arm, you wouldn't be embarrassed to tell somebody you broke your arm, or if you had a disease or an ailment. So depression is just that. And I say it because I want people to know that if you have that kind of situation, if you're depressed, if you suffer from anxiety, a little of both, or if it's really bad, you can't give up, and you could tell somebody. It's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Well, I have to tell you, Sky, I'm grateful that you said that, because we have about 10,000 people that are listening to us. And I don't know how many, but there has to be at least one person out there that needed to hear that. Makes it a really good thing that you said that. I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you saying that, because it's tough, in the beginning, because there's such a stigma.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't care. If it helps one person, hey, it's cool.
Okay, so where will you be next?
October 2nd, Saturday, comedy at the Carlson in the old Stromberg Carlson building. It's a great venue, one of the best clubs in the country, for real. And I'm not just saying that because I live in Rochester and base out of here. It's going to be a smaller, intimate show, and it's magic, comedy, audience participation, mental magic and madness. And I'd love you to come see the show.
And your website?
Skysands.com. Skysands.com. That's easy.
Well, it's been great having you on the show today. I think I made another friend.
I know you did, and I did too. And for my literary friends out there, thank you, and farewell, hello, farewell, hello.
Okay. So for everybody listening, this is, of course, the No Nonsense Roundtable. And we're here every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. on News Radio Wham 1180. And if you want to listen to any prior shows, you can go to nononsenseroundtable.com. And with that, we're going to say see you next week on the No Nonsense Roundtable.